Nostradamus and the Planets of Apocalypse by Jason and Breshears, as read by Kevin Stevens, also known as Grendel Dark. Summary. The present is both a necessary consequence of the past and the cause of the future. C. W. Dalton, 1985. Though we began this study by employing the analogy of the pool of water and its ripples, we conclude with yet a more penetrating symbol for the phenomenon of time. The pendulum with regularity swings back and forth, keeping a natural rhythm. As it traverses its path of motion, the pendulum spins the majority of its movement to the left or to the right of its 90-degree epicenter, moving its swings backward and forward before passing at its quickest speed over the epicenter that it crossed over in a blink. Translated into the phenomenon of time, we find that the pendulum, material reality, spends an equal amount of its time to the left, the past, and to the right, the future, while spending hardly no time at all over the epicenter, the present, which it passes over rapidly as it moves forward and backward through space. By recognizing that we move through conditions that we perceive as events through our senses, we are better able to understand and study the world we live in, where it has been, and where it is going. As we are the pendulums, the present barely exists at all, while the future continually flows into the past. As products of our own psyche, which is grounded in experience, it can be argued that the past and the future are more substantive than the present being more illusory than that which was and which will be. Immanuel Kant, in Critique of Pure Reason, summed it up nicely when he wrote, "It is not time that passes, but the existence of what is changeable passes in time." The operation of the human mind reflects this phenomenon. Every day we find ourselves wrapped up in memories of the past, or we worry about the future. Few people realize what is happening to them. When the human body is active, focused on something and concentrating, the present becomes more real to them. But when we stop moving, stop studying, or meditating on a task, immediately the mind travels into the past, or, by the agency of imagination, traverses the future, be it through hope or worry. When we are still, often without realizing it, our mind takes us backward and forward in time. Over 16 centuries ago, Augustine of Hippo, in Confessions, Book 11, pondered these things and was remarkably correct in his assessment. He wrote, "Time flies so quickly from the future into the past that it is an interval without duration. If it has duration, it is divisible into past and future, but the present occupies no space." It is this author's own proposal that if we were able to perceive the existence of a phenomenon, then there must also be a method by which we can understand its basic mechanics. This led to my discovery, or maybe rediscovery after Nostradamus, of timeline-based isometric projections. The pendulum is our compass. The center of the device serves as our isometric epicenter. For the purposes of example, our center is 1973. If the distance the pendulum traveled was segmented into units we call years, then whatever year the swing of the pendulum attained going in one direction, it would again reach when traveling in the opposite direction. As with most of the laws of nature, the phenomenon is simple. For Nostradamus to have seen the future and dated the events would have required him to have an accurate knowledge of the past, chronologies that would have covered a mere 500 to 550 years. He could have easily measured out multitudes of timelines that would have revealed to him the years 2040 and 2046. As any Nostradamus scholar is aware, Nostradamus destroyed his notes and his source materials. This he admitted. The French seer had a method available to him, but this does not exclude any other methods of predicting future events unknown to this author. That Mother Shipton also divined these events infers that revelation came in some other way. But human receptivity to perceive phenomenon is not always expressed in the same ways. Two different people could come to the same conclusions, both being correct, though both interpreted what they perceived very differently from one another. that the northern prophetess and the French prophet lived at the same time, hints at a greater link between those things that they had independently perceived. This author claims no divine revelation or mystical guidance in coming to his conclusions about the global destructions of 2040 and 2046. His own research resulted from perceiving mathematical patterns between scores of similar events over periods of thousands of years that, when scrutinized carefully, reveal two different orbital chronologies of two planetary bodies that do not orbit the Sun on the plane of the ecliptic as the other planets do, but both maintain orbits at extreme inclinations that are highly elliptical. As stated previously, this book does not set out to prove the existence of these two planets, Phoenix and Nibiru, but is a supplement to that earlier research. The reader is encouraged to read those other books and determine for himself that point in time when the many coincidences give way to no coincidence at all. J. M. Breshears, 2012.